Welcome to our presentation. We're Group Blueberry. My name is Alex, and that's Will, Lee, Mushi, and Lily. And we are going to present our project. So our project is based on bottles and cans, which are not recycled. Because in Scotland there are 22,000 tons of plastic rings, which land in landfill or in the environment, and it would be worth £6 million. And the current recycling rate is really, really low. And furthermore, maybe you heard about the emission targets of Scotland. 23 Scottish councils failed to meet it by half. So that's a massive amount. We want to our project aims to reduce the amount of bottles and cans in landfill / in the environment. Therefore we want to reduce the carbon footprint. And we also want to educate people so they improve their sustainable lifestyle. Maybe you heard of Zero Waste Scotland? They have a budget of £10 million for this year to reduce, to meet this emission target. And they have an innovative which is called Recycle and Reward. This, maybe you heard about it, probably you didn't, because it didn't really work. Because they have a couple of, 15 points in Scotland where they have these machines where you can recycle a certain amount of certain products, but you get different vouchers or different things out of it. So it's not really convenient for the customers. We did market research and we found that only half of the population actually recycles because it's not convenient. But then again, we found that 97% of the people would recycle if they would get something for it. So that's where we start our project. And that's what Will is going to show you.
Yeah. Our whole story starts from one bottle. Yeah. As long as you finish the drinks and you bring it to the recycle machine. Yeah. Okay. You could get 10 piece coupon which could use for all the supermarket. And this 10 piece actually from the Scottish government fundings. Okay. And the one who could get this machine, like library or private sector supermarket, they could get the carbon offset certificate to the organizations and make them get better performance and reputations. So in this case, gives both the organizations and customer incentive to participate into the recycling process. But we need to give more incentive to the private sectors, private sector like supermarkets to participate in, which the supermarket could provide the fund for 5 extra pieces to the coupons to customer. But in this case, I could use Tesco as example. If in this case the recycling machine is located in Tesco and Tesco provides the 5 extra pieces, and the 50 piece coupons could only be consumed in Tesco. It could actually increase the Tesco sellings and decrease the revenue, and they also could get carbon offset credit, carbon offset certificate to supermarkets, which basically could reduce carbon emissions for Tesco, makes them more competitive. And at the same time, the customer could get the green credit. We also could have green points to customer if they do the recycling. But currently, whereas the green points does not work so well, so we propose a new ways to dealing with that green certificate, which is called benchmarking methodology. We could encourage Scotland government to build a website which could show how environmental friendly you are, and for the top 10 or top 20, they could get the reward like 50 or 20s, and also could get in reduction in tax. Total gave a lot of incentive for individuals to participate into the recycling process.
Yeah, and we don't give the free machine to everyone because we're gonna use the standard to evaluate the supermarket or transportation centers by taking into account their sales revenue and their past green performance, and if they're on the low risk route. Yeah, we got a lot of benefit from doing this program. The government can meet their emission target, and the retailers can increase their sales, obviously, and build their good image and reputation, and get the green certification, which is very valuable. And we have less litters in our community. Maybe homeless people can collect the bottles and get the free coupons and buy some food. For the consumers, they got free coupons as long as they bring back the bottles. Yeah, for now we have some drawbacks because this whole program is not sustainable itself because the government won't gonna pay for the bill forever. So maybe in the future when consumers get used to this sustainable lifestyle and the free machine are already in place, maybe we can induce a deposit system, a bottle deposit system, which means we can go further, or we can collect more resources like paper or aluminum. Things like that. So we finished. Yeah, we're the first one who finished.
Okay, you've done a survey of 100 people out in the street. Well done for getting 100 people to stop and speak to you. It's difficult. What do you think? Have you thought anything about the appropriate price that would need to be paid for a said item, whether it be a bottle or a can? And what would be the tip point to encourage them to actually utilise your machine? And is it just price, or is it also, as you say, accessibility and other aspects as well?
So basically we just team up with the government and they have something in place. It's like the value of 10p per item, so per bottle, per can.
So it would just be a standard flat rate, 10 pence per item from that perspective?
Yeah,
yeah, /15.
Yeah, and also accessibility is very important. They currently cannot reach the recycling rate. It's just because they only have 15 locations of this machine, so there's no much commercial part participating in. So actually, they do not provide enough incentive for them. So our systems to give them incentive to participate into the recycling system. So as long as we get supermarket everywhere, if we could get the machine in Tesco, definitely I could bring it back.
Okay. And just be clear that the 10 pence they're getting, that's coming from the Scottish Government to the individual, that's where the money's
Yeah,
that's what we said in the ending.
Cheers.
I think really fantastic idea, and did identify why people aren't recycling and that they need an incentive. So I think on this point, I'm going to push it a little bit to challenge you a little bit more. Do you think this will work? Do you think this will be enough of an incentive for people to recycle? And is there a component of it that you think is around education or kind of other things you might need to do to complement that to get more members of the population recycling? Because initially you might get people that are already going to recycle and then they're also going to get their coupon. But do you think that this is really going to get people to recycle?
So the thing is, the system already exists, or not exactly the system, but a way of the system exists in other countries, like Scandinavia, Australia, like Germany, US, and people actually do it. It is, I think Germany has 80% of the bins are recycled. So I think if you give the people a money incentive, they're going to do it. And especially a special market for this are the homeless people. Because if you go around in Finland at 12 at night, you see so many people collecting the bottles. So it's like an income for them. So
yeah. And think about the example of the 5p plastic bag. It works so effectively. It's a huge consumer behavior change just by 5p. So this is the beginning because we can just push a little bit. And in the future, maybe we can push more further by letting the consumer pay the premium for their bottle, like the 5p plastic bag. If they've already paid for the bottle, they have to return it back because they wanted money back. So it's a strong incentive. Is that fair enough?
One minute.
Do you have an estimate, because you did say there's £6 million that's being thrown away. Do you have an estimate in the first couple of years what level of government subsidy would be required to get it started up? Because you indicated it would need some level of government subsidy. Do you have some rough ideas on what that is compared to the 10 million that's now being invested on an annual basis?
Yeah, actually they could save about 6 million per year just by the separations. So it's actually very worth for government to do this program. I mean, for future, maybe as long as you approach to the recycling target. But as was said, we have already like 2 years, 3 years, we have already get used to do the recycling. It's totally changed the individual's behaviors. And also by using benchmarking methodology, as long as we compete to each other, I think I'm more environmental friendly compared to you, I'm better. So if we start to use as one of the standards to have look on the personal performance, so it actually could change people in future. Maybe there will be a reduction in future fund, but I don't think they will need that much in future.
Okay, thank you.
So it's like we didn't focus on education and like as a way to improve it. We focus on education as a side effect. Is that okay?
Yeah, that makes sense.
There was one more.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say well done again. I think this is another area where people do need a prod, and we know that people aren't rational. If I said to people, there's a $400 iPad and you can go across town to get it for $200, most people in the room would go across the town to get it. If I said to you there's a $4,000 car, you can go across town for $3,800 to get it, would you go? A lot of people wouldn't. And I think this area of recognising that small amounts of money scattered about, people don't bother. But when you give them, as you said, you know, I'll get something off my tax bill, or I'll get a sum coming back to me, I think that does make people change their behaviour. So I think that's spot on, actually. I think it's, again, really good. Thank you.
I think it does work. So